worlds will burn. Now at last, on this world, vengeance shall be mine. For I am the Queen of Blades.
All right, welcome everyone to the Geek Remix Podcast, Episode 4. I'm Stacy.
And I'm Mari.
Yes, Mari is feeling kind of sick this week, but we're going to muscle through it.
Yes, we gotta deliver the content because there's no sick days on YouTube podcasting.
Tell them where you get your medical advice from.
Oh. I wasn't feeling good and my sinuses were all stuffed up. And, so I put the humidifier on me, and then I got a clear diet soda, and I drank some, and it makes it, like, drain out. I don't know why it happens, but I got it from the song Chicken Noodle Soup, Chicken Noodle Soup, Chicken Noodle Soup, with a soda on the side, and let it rain, and let it rain. Like, I remember hearing that music video, hearing that song on the radio, and I was kind of sick, and I was like, I wonder if that actually, like, helps. And so I did it, and I was like, oh my god, I feel so much better.
Oh my god, it works. I always just hop in the shower. That's what I like to do.
That works too, but...
Because then you can, like, blow your nose in your hands. And it's like, you can really, like, get everything out, and it's, like, not gross.
It is, but it's very satisfying.
Yeah, it's very satisfying. Anyways, welcome. So, a couple news items. So the first one I had found was that Blizzard is currently evaluating mobile games for their next strategy. So they had acquired, they acquired King, which is like a mobile game developer, but they're ruling out virtual reality for now. And I think that that's basically just until people can, like, until virtual reality is like a proven thing. They're like, yeah, you guys have fun, like, working out all the kinks. We're just going to wait until the technology catches up.
Yeah, but I'm not a big fan of the state of mobile gaming right now. It's not very, in-depth. Well, that's not fair to say because there are actually a lot of really good mobile games. It's just that the really popular ones are so...
They're like junk food for your brain.
Yeah, I guess I would say that. I kind of wish there was a mobile game that was on the same level of complexity as, like, Harvest Moon, but not Farmville.
Yeah.
Like, you can just turn on your phone and open up your Harvest Moon app.
Isn't Nintendo getting into mobile games?
Yeah, they're going to have the Pokemon Go, which is basically going to make me super active because I'm going to be like, I got to go for a jog. There's a Pokemon out there. Like...
I know that, if Blizzard was to introduce something like StarCraft, but in the vein of, like, Clash of Clans, my life would just, like, cease to exist. It would just end, because the only reason I'm not still playing boatloads of StarCraft is because I don't have a PC to play StarCraft, but I just used to waste so much time playing that game. And it, like, so when I was reading the article about Blizzard, like, something that concerned me is they were, like, concerned me for myself, is they were like, yeah, people don't need to, like, sit down and play 45-minute missions anymore. So we want to make it, like, make their current franchises more mobile friendly. And I was like, oh my God, does this mean that I would be able to play StarCraft on my phone? Like, oh dear God.
Wait, they want to make the missions on...
There's, so, like, a normal mission in some of, like, the real-time strategy games will be, like, 45 minutes long. But if they were going to go to, like, a mobile game, they wouldn't want them to be that long because most people sit and play a mobile game for, like, 5 or 10 minutes while they're fucking around. You know?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I know that you're envisioning a utopia of phone StarCraft.
But that's not a utopia.
Well, I'm being sarcastic.
Oh, okay.
Where in which you are forever with Sarah Kerrigan, no matter where you are. Like, just anytime you want to, you open up your phone and you're like, here she is.
Here she is.
But in my mind, it feels a little bit more like it's going to be like Dungeon Keeper mobile, where it was something great, and now it's like, I'm not so sure about that. But then again, Blizzard doesn't really... They don't deliver subpar stuff.
Blizzard doesn't fuck around.
Well, they have a lot of bullshit microtransactions, but when they do it, at least they try really hard to make the game still fun. So
yeah. Like, if you count Blizzard with King, like the company that they acquired, like they're second overall in gaming revenue, I guess. So it makes sense that now that they have King, who develops mobile games, that they would kind of be like, hey, how can we make the rest of our franchises mobile friendly?
I just hope that they don't go 100% mobile friendly and forget about having more, I don't want to say hardcore, but more in-depth experiences for their fans, you know?
Yeah, I don't think they will, just because so much of their fan base is not. But I think that usually when people look to mobile, it means that they're looking to get more gamers, like, that they don't already have.
Yeah. Because I was, like, looking at a bunch of kids, and none of them have, like, Nintendo DSs or anything. They all have their tablets, and they all play, like, really doopity-doop, like, Angry Birds and stuff. And I'm like, no, there's no complexity to this. There's no one to get attached to. What are you guys doing? Someone needs to give you a game that actually, like, makes you feel something.
But I feel like a lot of what makes mobile games so popular is that people will pull them out and just, like, play them while they're wasting time.
Yeah, but that's what made the Game Boy so popular, too. But the Game Boy had, like, Pokemon and stuff. I want, like, something like Undertale to go to mobile. I feel like that would be a really good mobile game. I don't know how they would make it work, but...
mobile, I mean, you could bring Undertale to, like, the 3DS.
They're going to bring Undertale to the Wii U, but I really think it would do really great on, like, a tablet.
Yeah.
Or on the phone. I think it would just be a really good thing if they, like, altered the save states a little. So...
That's one of those games that it's like I want to play it, but every time I, like, psych myself up to be like, yeah, like, I'm gonna play it, then I hear something about it and I'm like, oh man, I don't know if that's something that I could play and, like, enjoy.
I don't know what you're hearing that you don't like. I'm not sure what it is. Huh?
Bullet hell.
Oh, don't worry about that, honestly.
Oh, don't worry, Stacy. You're really bad at it, but don't worry about it.
I'm really bad at it too, and it doesn't get too bullet helly. And don't worry, it's not that ridiculous. It's okay. Yeah. And the game is really forgiving about failing, like, really forgiving.
That's good. I always appreciate that. Oh, look, you died again. It's okay.
Well, it's a good thing to die sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's good.
Okay.
No more spoilers about that for the moment.
I wanted to play it so badly.
What?
I want Stacy to play it so badly.
I know. It's just like, it's one of those things I have to just, sit down and do it sometime.
In other news, SoFlo Antonio is getting a lot of shit for what people are calling freebooting. And in case you don't know what freebooting is, it's when somebody takes someone else's video and uploads it to Facebook. Ooh, I just burped, sorry. And they get millions of views and they don't give credit and they don't get any licensing from the original creator. So,
ew.
Yeah, so SoFlo Antonio has been basically making a career off of taking other people's videos, and all he does is goes, I'm not gonna lie, this is literally me when I'm driving, and then somebody else's entire video, and then at the end being like, that was so funny.
Wow.
He doesn't give credit.
Asshole.
He doesn't give links back. He doesn't ask permission. And so now all these YouTubers, like H3 Productions and like these two other guys that I was watching who I thought were really funny, they made fun of him and called him out on his bullshit. And then he threatened them with like a bunch of...
With what?
He threatened them with a bunch of like legalese. And they were like, no, you're full of shit. And he's like, well, I'm going to take down your channel. I know all these people, blah, 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 blah. Except that one of the guys has way more subscribers than him. And he's like, no, you're full of shit. And the other two were like, yeah, you are full of shit. And he threatened to sue them and all this stuff. And it was basically a bunch of lies because usually with like a multi-channel network or a larger channel, they'll just intimidate a smaller channel because the channel doesn't know what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. And then they'll just do it. But these channels were like, no, we're not going to take our videos down for calling you out for exactly what you did.
Yeah.
And like stealing and shit. So
I don't understand like what he thinks, what grounds he thinks he has.
He doesn't think he has any grounds. He just uses intimidation tactics and he wasn't ready for people to call his bluff.
Yeah. What an asshole.
Yeah, he's a huge asshole. And all these he was like,
wow.
Oh, yeah, well, they steal videos, too, and the thing is, though, they're all, like, those type of people who take other YouTube videos and, like, rip them apart, but they keep it in clips, only show small parts of it, and stuff like that, because they're reaction channels, but they're not the type of reaction channel where they just play the whole video and just sit there and watch it. No, they'll play it, pause it, crop it, do a skit about it, like, talk about it, like, run around and do things, make jokes. So it's a transformative work.
I feel like a lot of people aren't really understanding what the difference is between transformative work and just playing the whole video.
Yeah, I don't... They're just being... A lot of people were like, I don't make that much money from reaction videos. I saw people say this. I looked at how many views they get, and one guy had like 3 million views, another guy had like 30 million views, and they're like, oh, we don't make nearly as much money as you guys think we do. And I'm sitting there like, I know how much money that translates to, and that's a lot.
But that's not really the point.
The thing is that they were lying about a lot of things, and it is the point because they're making a lot of money off of downloading somebody else's content, playing it in full on their channel. Oh, wait,
you're talking about that the SoFlo guy was saying that?
No, the other reaction channels.
Oh.
SoFlo just takes the entire video. He doesn't even, like, pretend to react. He just takes it.
Yeah. I don't know, the whole like money conversation with Let's Players and YouTubers and everything, it makes me just like really mad because I feel like sometimes people try to judge for themselves like what they think is an appropriate amount of money for different people to make.
Oh no, there's just whenever somebody's like, no YouTuber should make any money, and I'm like, right, okay, so you just want, because you're getting free content. Yeah. Unless you're somebody who wants to support us, which is awesome. But we also like to... I hate begging for money. So I really like that we have sponsorships now because
then people get something from it.
Yeah, because you get something by getting a different product for yourself. And we just happen to get money because of that.
Yeah.
Which I prefer to than, begging. which is fine if like people want to do it. I just have my own issues with that, you know?
Yeah. Well, because then you get into this whole thing in your head, like, do I feel like I deserve this money? You know?
Yeah, that's a lot of the time where I feel like, oh man, I really got to make sure I feel like I deserve this money, otherwise I'm a huge asshole. So it's very... But anyway, a lot of people... I don't think a lot of people, but I think some people will say like, oh, no YouTuber should make any money. And I'm like, that's not true. I don't feel that's true.
Well, I mean, remember what happened when people found out how much money PewDiePie was making? And some people got like really pissy about it. And it's kind of like, okay, I mean, yes, he makes a lot of money, but at the same time, like, who are you to judge how much money a person should be making?
And it's not costing them anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like he's earning that money from other things. It's not like fans are giving him that money.
No, all the money he gets from fans, he donates to charity.
Yeah. So I don't know. Did that just like it? I don't know. I wish that people could see that there is no like right amount for somebody to be making off their content unless they're doing something like not transformative work or something like that where they're stealing content from other people. That's obviously wrong.
Speaking of stealing content. Oh, wait, finish what you're saying.
Oh, yeah?
We have been getting quite a few copyright claims, not copyright strikes, claims. So what that means is somebody else gets money for their revenue on our videos.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it keeps happening that managed gaming channels upload gaming footage to their network's automated claim system.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And remember that whole thing with Channel Frederator where I was like, called them out super hard and then they were like,
yeah.
No, it was a mistake. And I was like, the timeline you're giving me is basically it happened and then nobody said anything. Like, nobody important said anything, so you didn't do anything. And then 2 weeks went by, and then I threw a shit fit, and suddenly it was fixed overnight.
No, suddenly, not only was suddenly it fixed, but suddenly they were pissed at you for even, like, you know, throwing a fit about it.
Well, the only way it could have gotten it done was by throwing a fit. Like, everyone's like, Mari, why are you so bitchy? Why are you such an asshole? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, because I have to be. I have to be a huge bitch to all of these big companies. Otherwise, they don't give a shit. Like,
yeah.
I have to be so aggressive because I sent them an email and I sent them another email, like from the only email that's available on their contact page. I was like, okay. And so then I made a Tumblr post being like, this has affected probably thousands of videos. They put content that doesn't belong to them into their automated claim system. And mistake or not, it's a very convenient and profitable mistake that they have not their own content in their automated claim system. Mm-hmm. And they came back to me like, you totally misrepresented us. It didn't hit thousands of videos. It only hit a few hundred. And I'm like, that doesn't matter.
But that's a few hundred channels whose revenue you're taking.
Yeah.
Even if it's a small amount, like, that's not the point. The point is that you're taking other people's money.
And they're like, well, it was a mistake. It's not like we did it on purpose. And I was like, you did the mistake twice, and it took you a really long time to fix it until I said something. Because it was happening to a bunch of lot smaller channels, and I was seeing it happen, and this problem wasn't getting fixed. Until I was like, what the fuck is this? And went to Don't Nod and said, you know that they're stealing your content, right? And they were like, why would they do that? And I'm like, they probably accidentally uploaded it to their copyright system. And it made them look like assholes to everybody. And they got mad at me for saying what they did.
Yeah.
This guy sent a really long asshole letter to Stacy.
Yeah,
doesn't even put the effort in to send it to the right person, which really shows you what a great company they are.
Well, and he included it as a submission, which means that I can't respond to it. Like, he submitted it, not an ask, you know, like where somebody sends you an ask and so then you can post it with your own response to it. Like, I don't know if they just didn't know how to use Tumblr, but they submitted this letter. And so for me to do anything about it, I had to, like, post the letter as is. and then respond to it. And I was like, what are you guys doing?
It's like, oh, I believe that you meant to send this to Mari and not me. You're an idiot. Like, you didn't say that, but the shade was happening.
Yeah. And also, why would they send it to me on Tumblr instead of going through the email address that's on our YouTube channel? I just like,
I don't know. They, and he was like, well, can you show me the email that you sent me? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, I sent it to the only contact information that you have on your website, aka your website Tumblr page. So if your website Tumblr page is your Tumblr shit, you should know how Tumblr works. It's ridiculous.
Seriously.
And it was just acting as if, like, I was the asshole for exaggerating what they did. Like, the only exaggeration I had was that I said probably thousands of videos, when really it was hundreds of videos. Like,
only hundreds.
Only hundreds of videos. And they're like, and it wasn't getting that much revenue. I was like, yeah, but you were skimming off the top. That's the problem. Because you can skim off the top from a bunch of tiny channels and make money.
Yeah. Because if you take, even if it was just like, $2 a channel, it's like 500 channels. That's $1,000.
Exactly.
Of money that's not yours.
And I don't know if, like, it probably wasn't on purpose or whatever, but the problem is that they didn't give a shit to fix it until I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And right now we have 2 claims from a place called, give me a second. I am stalling.
This is like the grievances section of the podcast where we bitch about how awful some of these people are.
Let's see. I put it under a special.
Ooh, they've got their own special folder now.
Well, yeah, I usually keep them for special folders in case I need them.
Yeah. I think it's amazing that these people can, I feel like everybody should be well aware by now. Maybe if people aren't a YouTuber, they don't know, but the YouTube claims system is absolute shit. It is just, a lot of it is automated and...
I found them.
Oh, go ahead.
So we got 2 automated claims from Stage 4 Motorsport, channel Media Pulse Network, PULS, which I don't even know what that is.
What the hell? I've never even heard of that. Great.
I guarantee you this is a bullshit one. Yep, it is. Oh, thanks, Media Pulse Network. Subscribers 5,000 and blah blah 5,000 whatevers. Let's get looking on your video. Let's see what you got. Oh, look, it's what? What the fuck is this? Why do you have this in your shit? It doesn't belong to you. People keep doing this. Managed channels for networks keep uploading gaming footage to their claim system, and then I have to deal with it, and I have to get in everyone's faces and be a huge bitch, and then everyone's like, God, Mari, you're such a huge bitch, and I'm like, well, fix your shit.
Yeah. And I know people think that this is like an overreaction, but some of these people, they really do not take you seriously until you get shitty with them. They don't. If you just send nice emails about it, they won't listen. And the reason that we know that is because when smaller channels will try to combat claims like this, nothing will be done about it, and they'll just ignore it. And then the smaller channel just has to be like, oh, well, I guess I just lose out, blah, blah, blah. But the only reason sometimes they listen to us is 1, because we get shitty, and 2, because we have more subscribers, so more, like, a bigger platform, basically.
Yeah. It really bothers me that the way the system works. Oh, and also the video I made that is definitely a transformative work for the Amethyst Easter egg video, where I manipulate the footage, turn it backwards, and do a bunch of stuff. It got a lot of views, and it was manually claimed. That means somebody was looking up popular videos on Steven Universe, saw it, and manually claimed it.
I hope you caused a fuss about that one, too.
Well, I disputed it, and they better give it back to me. I don't have anyone to yell at on the internet because it was done by the, like, parent company.
Ah.
But it's for sure a transformative work, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, it's not the same footage that is on the show.
Yeah, and
it's kind of like the definition of transformative work.
like I literally transformed it into something new because it was finding an Easter egg that was hidden in the audio backwards. So that's bringing a new meaning to the work.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
All right. In other news, as long as you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Got that out of the system. In other news, Destiny is launching additional content this year and a full-fledged sequel in 2017.
A sequel? Why don't they just make Destiny good? Why? Who's gonna want to buy Destiny 2 if Destiny 1 doesn't make any fucking sense?
Yeah, well, you know that a lot of people play it, and a lot of people seem to enjoy it.
A lot of people seem to play it, but also hate that they're playing it, which seems like a weird game.
Oh, Mari, did I ever tell you about... I can't remember if you were the person... I don't think you were the person that showed this to me, but there's a Tumblr that is devoted to people who write nasty reviews about games, but who have played, like, hundreds of hours of those games.
I saw one of those for, like, something Overdrive, where it was, like, the space trucking one, and it was, like, ignore the fact that I have 90 hours on this game. I have to say, don't get it. The first 30 hours of the game are really awesome, but after that, it's not that great. I'm like, dude... No. You played it for 30 hours, though, loving it. Like, he's like, the first 30 hours were amazing.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, then you just ran out of shit to do in the game.
I know. The best ones are where it's people who played the game for literally, like, 500 or 1,000 hours. I'm not kidding. Like, there's some of them on there where people have played the game for, like, hundreds of hours, and they're just like, this game is horrible, but I can't stop playing it.
It's just,
like, there's just so much, like, self-hatred in the review.
oh, God. Those reviews for Gemini, I don't understand why the people on there love it so much.
Well, but that's okay, because you know that some people bought it from our playthrough and liked it, right?
Well, the people, everyone I saw, they were like, I bought it and it sucked. And I'm like, I am so sorry.
Yeah. Well, no, there were some people that ended up liking it, though.
But I just don't understand. Like, there's people, like, actively, like, it seems suspicious to me. That's what it is. That this game that's just okay has people, like, responding to negative reviews, fanning over it really hard.
Oh.
And I'm like, I don't know what it is that's going on, but it seems strange that this very average game has all these accounts giving it really good reviews and then having people like arguing with negative reviews.
Mari, this is like another case of Ashley and Until Dawn all over again.
What do you mean?
This is like a case of something that's pretty mediocre, but people get really attached to it and like...
Yeah, why do people like Ashley so much? I don't know. Like, every single other character in the game is, like, pretty, like, it's not even, like, okay, well, there's that one thing where it's, like, I don't understand how you can love someone so bland, and the only exciting part about them is that they will kill you the second they have the chance.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
And the weird thing is that if people liked her for that reason, like, if people... were like, yeah, like, I agree with that, and I'm down with it, then I would understand, because that's, like, a part of her character. Kind of like when we love Emily for just being a total bitch to other people.
Yeah.
That's part of her character, and you can fall in love with it. But most of the people that liked Ashley were just, like, in denial about it.
Yeah, they seemed to like somebody who was not her at all.
I know.
I was like, I don't know who you're talking about, but that's definitely not Ashley. She's so sweet
Yeah.
and innocent and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know who it is.
Are we talking about the same person?
Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about? Who are you? What? Like,
So recently, Ubisoft decided that they're going to skip 2016 for an Assassin's Creed game.
thank God.
I know. But one of the funny parts was that when they were going over Syndicate and how it even though it had like positive reviews, it kind of had a slower launch than anticipated.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when you burn out your fan approval.
Well, but also Ubisoft completely ignored all the problems with Unity, and they were like, oh no, it was due to the competitive market, not the fact that we made a game that was like so broken that people's faces came off, and
also that it was too difficult to make a woman, and aka that means you made a financial decision to not include women because you wanted to make a game so fucking fast.
Yeah. They pretty much made a whole bunch of excuses that pointed the finger everywhere else but their own decisions. Like, didn't take into account the fact that they've been pushing out too many games, that they didn't make a female character, that the game itself was broken. Nope.
In Syndicate,
none of those things had anything to do with it.
In Syndicate, they were overplaying the fact that you could play as a woman. And it wasn't even that great. Like, I was watching some videos and I was like, okay, like, you're not the best at representation at all.
Yeah.
Like, calm down. Calm down. She's okay. And she doesn't show up in cutscenes. So, I don't know what you're trying to brag about or if you're trying to make up for the fact that you said something really stupid.
Yeah. I think they were just compensating there.
It's just like, calm down. You didn't do a good job. Stop trying to tell yourself you did.
You just didn't.
You didn't.
It's okay.
Just the end. You just didn't. Oh. A Russian scientist is hosting the Pirate Bay for academic articles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he has all these like weird proxies to get into these universities, libraries and stuff, so that anybody can get any academic journal like in the world for free. It's the Pirate Bay of academic journals. So
oh man,
now anybody can get it, and they're being sued for a lot of like hundreds of thousands of dollars and stuff for like lost money. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to, on one side, like a lot of professors and stuff work really hard on their papers and they deserve to get paid, and on the other side I'm like, well, there's a lot of people in a lot of different countries who don't have access to education, or like the educational facilities that they have don't have the money to support having access to get to the journalistic things, you know?
Well, and also one of the big arguments for releasing information like that is because scientists in different countries will discover different things, but because they're siloed, like they keep all their research either within the country or even sometimes within a university because they want to get paid for it. And so we actually end up, like, science ends up not progressing as much as it could because nobody wants to work together.
I feel like there's like honor amongst professors though. Because No. I feel like there's honor amongst professors in terms of, if I can afford it, I'll buy it. But if I can't afford it, I won't. If that makes sense.
Yeah. You know, I saw an interesting statistic the other day about how many scientists and academics will admit to essentially flubbing data and things like that. Like malpractice, like scientific malpractice, essentially. And a small percentage will actually admit to it, but a greater percentage, like something like 30%, say that their co-scientists and co-workers will do things like that. Yeah, and those are just the people that will actually admit to it. So, I don't know. It's tough. You wonder sometimes how it can be tough when they go into it thinking they're going to find one thing, and the data seems to support a different hypothesis. It may encourage them to lie about the data.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the reasons for that is because the ways that they get paid for grants and things is if they find what they thought they were going to find, or if they at least find something. But if you go and collect all this data and you end up finding nothing surprising, then what are you going to do? You spent all this time and effort and you're not going to get paid for it just because you didn't find what you were looking for.
Yeah, it causes its own problems, basically.
Definitely. Twitch released their kind of retrospective and showed that they at any given moment they have over 500,000 people on average watching at the same time. That's a lot of people. And people actually watch more content per month on Twitch than they do on YouTube. It's about 421 minutes a month on Twitch versus 291 minutes per month on YouTube.
I'm not trying to talk shit about Twitch, but I just gotta say it's a lot easier to stream to YouTube for me. And I'm not even trying to be like pro corporate or anything. YouTube just has a higher bit rate, but the chat tools suck and everything. But I can do higher quality streams there. And it's easier.
I know that it differs for some people depending on the country they're in.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So
they were trying to brag that Twitch had way more streams for Fallout 4 than YouTube did. It just didn't seem like a very...
Yay?
It just didn't seem like a very easy way to
compare.
Compare, yeah. I was like, okay, but... I mean, I'm not trying to talk shit about Twitch. Twitch is a solid platform. It just, just shit talking, I don't
know. I think it can be hard to, I know that they constantly try to draw comparisons between the two, but I think they're just different.
Yeah.
I really do. I think that they're two different types of material. And some people really want like the audience interaction bit on Twitch. They want everything to be live and happening right away. And other people would rather watch something on their own schedule.
Yeah.
And something that's edited, something that is maybe condensed if it's like a really lengthy game or something like that. So
definitely.
I know I personally prefer watching videos on YouTube. But
yeah, but some people crave that interaction. I'm really bad at streaming. Like, I can't. I try to look at the chat and talk to people, but it goes by really fast, and I get nervous. And
yeah, I get really freaked out when I stream. I mean, it was kind of fun, like to do it a couple times. But I'm not sure if it's like maybe I would just have to get accustomed to it. I don't know.
It's hard to keep up talking with everyone. That's what the issue is.
Yeah.
Because I'm not I know it seems like I talk a lot to Stacy, but that's because I'm with Stacy. Like, talking to lots of people is difficult, which is why we try to talk to people via Twitter and everything as much as possible, so to make up for that lack of interaction.
I saw an article that actually points out that introverts, such as us, are actually more adept at using social media than extroverts.
Yes, because we've been training for it all our lives.
Exactly. So, like, they examined Twitter networks and found that people who are introverted tend to be better at Twitter networking than their extroverted peers. And part of it is because introverts feel like much more comfortable in an environment where you can just like write things down and, what?
Todd invited me to he was like, I was like, oh, I can't sleep, like just having one of those nights. And he's like, oh, you want to join like our chat on this thing? I was like, oh, okay. I joined the chat, and you can see it's called Discord. It's like this new thing. You can see on the right-hand side, like, everybody who's in the chat. And it's like, I'm looking at the names, and then I see, like, names of people who are really, really big YouTubers. And, like, that Todd's, like, friends with everybody. And he's, like, totally, like, whatever, like, I'm Todd. Like, and do whatever I
Yeah.
want because I'm a very relaxed human. And he, like, didn't tell me that any of these people were in there. And I was just, like, didn't say anything.
Oh, my God.
Just, like, staring. He didn't warn me. He's like, just join this chat of my friends. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, it's going to be a bunch of, like, gamers. And I was like, oh, shit. Okay, don't say vagina.
I mean, I'm one of those people that if I know that I'm going to like stream or podcast with somebody basically that isn't you, I spend like the half an hour leading up to it sweating and visiting the bathroom every 5 minutes and just like, it's, you know, it's anxiety. It can be really anxiety provoking. I think that that's why I prefer YouTube videos because we do them together and I don't know.
No.
It just makes me
I was
more
nervous
comfortable.
about the podcast with Laura the first time, and then I got over it, but...
Oh, well, good for you.
Oh, you're not over it yet? You're still starstruck?
No, I get nervous that I'm going to say something dumb, as per usual.
Yeah, but that's okay. She can edit it. Whatever.
Well, but then I realized that people tend to like it when we say dumb shit, so
people
I guess that's
love
okay.
it when we're humiliated or whatever. They love that shit. I gotta
When
be
we
able to
tell
right
embarrassing
back.
stories about ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, as we were saying, people love watching us suffer.
Yes. Well, and they just love it when we say embarrassing shit. I think... Yeah,
Also,
which makes me, honestly, it makes me feel better about being embarrassing because I'm like, oh, well, there's humor value in this, so I guess it's okay.
they also love hearing us scream.
Oh my God, why?
I don't know.
Yeah.
What else? Let's see. Oh yeah, Florida legislator is proposing for kids to learn a coding language rather than a foreign language. To be able to choose instead of a foreign language, a coding language. Because
I mean, you know that President Obama is doing a whole bunch of stuff with computer science education, right?
that's good. That's great.
Yeah.
But can you imagine like in a public school or something where there's not a lot of opportunities that they taught a class on how to code, like how many more opportunities there would be for somebody like that?
Yeah. I think that that's a great idea. I know that there's kind of a struggle in computer science between teaching like syntax and the language itself and teaching computer science theory. And that depending on the exact program you're in, like say if you're in like a college computer science program, some of the programs can get really heavy on the theory side and not enough about like, hey, this is what you're going to do when you're actually on the job.
The professors get
like
carried
that.
away.
Yeah, well, I mean, they do that at every school. It's like, you know, you go to like, it's say if you're in like an English program, you're learning about all of this like history of, you know, different people who, you know, Shakespeare and all that stuff. And nobody actually sits there and tells you, okay, but this is what you're going to have to do to get a job once you get out of here. You're going to go work in sales. I think something like 10% of our country works in sales.
Is that like
I don't know if that's like the number anymore, but it's a significant percentage of the population that's works in either sales or marketing.
Oh, that's pretty
because
cool.
if you think about it, every company has sales and marketing people. Not every company, but that's like
a lot of them.
A lot of them. That's like those are like two of the most common positions that you're gonna have. So, because everybody's always trying to sell something.
I already talked about all the things I wanted to complain about. Do you have any other things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, the number of successful video game Kickstarters went down for the second year in a row. So, this is kind of shitty because basically last year, there were actually 100 more video game Kickstarters than there were in 2014. But less of them were successful, meaning that the proportion of successful Kickstarters went down also. So there's more of them, but less and less of them are becoming successfully funded.
No, that's kind of sad.
Yeah, but the good news is that the amount raised by those that were successful actually went up.
Yeah, but I don't think that's very fair because a lot of the Kickstarters were, I think, large companies might be starting to abuse that because last year, what's skewing that is that there were several huge, absolutely gigantic Kickstarters for established IPs for companies that were already going to be backed by a publisher.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's especially fair because I feel like that's...
I mean, there are positives for even established developers to use the Kickstarter route instead of going with a publisher.
I just feel as if they're using it as like a way to show that people are interested and just to get some money. But to me, if it seems as if it might be taking away from the indie market where it's hard for indie games to compete with the large promises coming from a studio that already has a financial backing.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the good things with like a firm, say Double Fine, going with Kickstarter is that even if they could get, or the people who are going to make Yooka-Laylee for instance, which were the people who made Banjo-Kazooie, if you guys remember that game, so they raised $3.3 million for Yooka-Laylee, which is like a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie. And one of the reasons I think that they want to do that is because they have more artistic freedom, like a better timeline. If you go with a publisher, then they can kind of dampen the artistic process. So it's not always just about the money. Sometimes it's about getting to create the game that you want to make and having the money to do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, backers get Kickstarter rewards as long as the game goes to fruition. So sometimes the amount of money that those games make, it's not even the amount that they asked for. It's way more. Like some of those projects, they'll ask for, $500,000 or whatever, and they'll end up, raising $2 million. Because so many people are interested in it.
I am so ready for Psychonauts 2. I'm going to force us to do a Let's Play of it. I know that you probably don't want to. You're like, no, this game's old. I'm like, we're playing it.
This is dumb.
Alright, this game's old. It's not going to trend. I don't give a shit. We're playing it.
I can't wait for Yooka-Laylee to come out because Banjo-Kazooie was one of my favorite games growing up. So
yeah, you like stole my Xbox.
I know. Mari left me alone playing it, and I was just having so much fun because you have the disc where you can play all of the old games from them.
God, I'm remembering how sick I was. Ugh.
Yeah, you were pretty miserable when we were recording that.
Well, and then
You're
made
here,
you sick.
Stacey, play the game.
And then I got you sick. Anyway, like, the moral of the story is don't ever touch children. Yes. They don't know when they're sick, but then they get you sick. God, awful.
And then everybody is sick, and it's just a horrible... Dude, we were sick for like 2 weeks.
Oh my God, it was so bad.
It was so bad, you guys. We had to record, I think, 4 separate days when both of us were really ill.
Yeah, because we had no backlog.
Oh my God, it was the worst.
I think I felt like I was dying. I was like, when will it end? It wasn't like, oh, we're really sick for like 3 days and then you start feeling better.
No.
It just was like really, really
just
sick for
going.
a very, very long time.
Ugh.
It was so bad. It wouldn't end. It was the worst thing. Never gonna hang out with a kid again. Ever.
No, don't. There's no point.
Stacey, when a baby comes out of you, don't let it out of the house. Otherwise...
They don't come out of you.
Yeah, they do.
You summon them from the underworld.
Oh, right. That's only if you have special privileges, though.
How do we get these special privileges?
I don't know. Oh, the other night, I watched Constantine. I forgot how awesome that movie is. Speaking of
Oh my God.
babies.
Speaking of demon babies.
That movie was awesome. Have you seen it?
I don't think I have.
Oh my God, Stacey. Watch it tonight. I don't care
Okay.
what you got to do tonight. You got to. If you turn it on and you have your it's like, you know how like when you turn a movie on, you have a laptop or whatever? This is one of those movies where you close the laptop.
Yeah.
It's so
yeah.
dumb and awesome. Stars Keanu Reeves.
I was going to say, I think it's Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, and he's like a demon hunter. And it also has,
wow.
what's her face? A really good actress. It's great. Like, after you'll be like, yeah, man.
Wow, this is so good.
We're gonna get more of this shit. Like,
so remember how we were talking about virtual reality earlier?
yeah.
So the Sci-Fi Channel is making a scripted virtual reality TV series for the Oculus Rift.
I don't know.
Okay, so
Seems very
bear
stressful
with me.
because you can like you're turning around looking at everybody.
I mean, I don't know exactly how it would work. It's 15 total episodes, and it's 5 of them are virtual reality only.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll have like a short recap for those who can't tune in via the Oculus Rift.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Halcyon, and it would here's the synopsis. Okay, Halcyon is a police procedural series set in 2058 and focuses on a future world where virtual reality is as ubiquitous as smartphones are today. The series follows Julie Dover, a detective in the virtual reality crimes unit, investigating the first real-life murder to take place within virtual reality, a crime that shouldn't even be possible, and the conspiracy she discovers behind it.
Yep.
Doesn't that sound cool?
Yeah. I saw a bunch of GIFs of their new like witch TV show, and I'm like, what show is this? It's like, from I gather from the GIFs, it's some sort of witch school. Like if the craft was Harry Potter. That's what it looks like. I don't know what it's called, but it's like on the Sci-Fi Channel, and I'm like waiting for a time to definitely don't pirate it because I don't have cable. And
you're like, let me in.
Let me into this fandom. I'm ready. It literally looks like if the craft was Harry Potter. Like, it looks like they're at, like, witch school, but they're all dressed like craft characters.
Oh, my God. That sounds perfect.
It looks awesome.
We've been needing a new Harry Potter to come along.
It's like a sexy girl Harry Potter. Or, I don't know. It's just, like, they're all wearing, like, schoolgirl. They're all just wearing, like, if Tumblr witches were, like, you ever, like, look up witches on Tumblr?
That's, like, what a lot of my feed is, actually.
Yeah.
It's Tumblr witches.
Tumblr witches. And they're all, like, talking about their crystals and stuff. I'm like, man, I wish, like, I could get into being a witch. But, like, basically, they made that a TV show. And I'm like, yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm in.
I love looking up witch on Tumblr or, like, witchcraft. Because it's always like, damn, they look so good.
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of my Tumblr feed is just, like, goths, witches, people wearing, like, fetish outfits, and just other funny shit.
You know what?
So,
every time I'm in the library and I open up Twitter, it's always the person...
Porn?
Yeah. No, like, all day, I can open up Twitter anytime. But as soon as I'm in public, boom! Titties.
Yeah.
Like, it could be any other time of the day, no titties. And then the second, like, the microsecond I'm in a place where someone else can see my phone or my computer, there's titties.
Oh, you.
Why? But why?
I don't know. I think it's gotta be like the law of the titties or something.
That it will, there's air, does
like, if there can be titties, there will be titties or something like that.
Do all the women who post nudes on Twitter, like, they're like, it's about school time. Time to start posting nudes for all the kids in class not paying attention. Like,
yeah. That's gotta be it.
That's gotta be it.
Or maybe, your phone can always tell where you are. So maybe your phone just thinks that that's what you want to see when you're at the library.
Oh, She's at the library. I know what she's doing. I'm like, what?
I know what she wants. Your phone has like some sort of rogue AI that's just like programmed to seek out porn when you're in public places.
Just hates me. My phone hates me.
And she's like, I thought I was helping.
It's so bad.
Speaking of porn, do you want to do book club?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, as you know, we are sponsored by Audible, which is where you can download audiobooks. And since we are sponsored by them, we can offer you a free 30-day trial, which includes a free book. And we always like to recommend a couple of books for you guys to check out. The link to the trial is audibletrial.com/geekremix. So the first one I wanted to recommend, I was telling Mari about this the other day. I'm just going to like put this out there. It's erotica. So if you are not interested in hearing really graphic sex, do not download this book. Okay? Don't come complaining to me that it's all about sex. So it's called The Warlord Wants Forever by Cressley Cole. It's part of the Immortals After Dark series.
Is it only heterosex? I think that's something people are wanting to know.
It follows one couple. It's a cis hetero couple with a dominant male. And the reason I'm telling you that is because it is a fantasy, but if that's not like what your shtick is, then you probably wouldn't like it. I'm gonna listen to the other parts and I'll let you know if they have like different combinations that come up. But yeah, it's good.
I'm ready.
I would suggest buying it with dollars instead of using it for the free credit though, just because the book costs it's under $10, which is usually the going like value of a credit. But if you're interested in buying something with a credit, there's this book called Sin in the Second City, Madams, Ministers, Playboys, and the Battle for America's Soul by Karen Abbott. I had brought it up very briefly when Mari was talking about Devil in the White City, because they're kind of similar in the feel of the book. So this book is about the Everly sisters and their iconic brothel in Chicago, where they kind of wanted to elevate the profession. So their girls saw tutors, they were fed really well, they had an on-site physician, like all sorts of stuff. And but they were like a bunch of reformers that kind of wanted to tear down the industry and everything. And so it's about that whole thing. Is there anything you've been reading this week?
Not recently, but I wanted to recommend two books. One is a lot more lighthearted and one is a lot more serious, because last week I recommended a book about a serial killer. So yeah. who murders women. So these two are going to be a lot more female empowering. The first one is one of my favorite books from when I was a little girl, called Ella Enchanted. And it's basically a longer retelling of the Cinderella story. But it's a lot more complicated, and there's more character development, and there's more nuances to it. And I just like this version of Cinderella the most of all the ones I've read, except for Lunar Chronicles. But yeah. It's a very solid book, but it's only 5 hours. So I don't know if you think that's worth it for your one credit. But another one I want to suggest is The Bone Dolls Twin, which is the first book of the Tamir Triad. And what The Bone Dolls Twin is about, and I hope that a lot of people like this, and I just want to let you know it doesn't feel what some people would call it as forced, but it's about a princess, and it's in a kingdom. Well, actually, it's a queendom, where inheritance goes from mother to daughter. So the queen's daughter will always be...
Oh, it's a matriarchy.
Yeah, it's a matriarchy. And one day, one of the sons of the queen, took over everything because the queen was being crazy and, really weird. So he killed every female member of the entire royal family except for his sister. And his sister was going to give birth, but her husband knew that she was going to give birth to twins, and her husband knew that he had to protect he was going to give up one of them. Like, one of them was going to die. So what he does is he hires a witch to make sure that the son twin, the male twin, comes out without taking in a breath, so that the soul never comes in, so it was never alive.
Okay.
Just listen. And I'm only
Okay.
giving you guys the very first setup to the thing. Okay? And this all happens in the very first chapter. I'm just making sure you guys understand what this book is about. And then the female child comes out, and what they do is they make it so the female baby, who is heir to the throne and the true heir to the queendom and everything, because there's a curse on the land that says only the daughters of Latima can be queen, otherwise this land will go in shambles. So they take the boy body and make her have that body. So she's a girl with a boy's body.
Oh, yes. I remember you telling me about this book.
And she grows up with a boy's body, believing that she's a boy, but she keeps having feelings about, like, she keeps wanting to, like, play, like, when she wanted to play with dolls, she sees her father look at her, and she feels, like, really ashamed because she wanted to play with the dolls. She has, like, a lot of, like, gender anxiety because she has a boy's body, and she doesn't know that she's, like, a girl underneath. She genuinely thinks that she's born a boy and is a boy, but, like, has all these feelings that she doesn't understand. And it's, like, there's a lot else going on. Like, it's not just about that. There's, like, a whole, like, political thing, and it's, like, the author of this just wanted to be, like, I wanted to write a really cool story, but also dive into, like, a bunch of issues that people deal with, but still have, like, an amazing story. Like, she's a really good writer, and she's a very popular writer. It's been, like, by Lynn Flewelling? Shit.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, she's a really good writer. She's really good at building worlds, and there's, like, a whole lot of lore going on besides this. So it's, like, a really well-written, what I would say, trans woman character, because eventually she's going to grow up, and she has to become a woman again.
Oh, yeah.
And she has to deal with these feelings, and she falls in love with her best friend, who is a boy, and she's like, am I gay? And, like her
what's going on? This is confusing.
This is what's going on. This is confusing. And her mentor's like, you know, it's okay to be gay. Like, some guys are just like that, because she had a lot of anxiety about it. There's a lot else going on besides this, but I'm just saying, you know, I think this is a really well-written book.
Excellent.
Yeah, so
if you are interested in any of those or any of the other ones that we've recommended before, you can go to audibletrial.com/geekremix and get one for free.
Yeah.
So something interesting that I saw that I thought I would read to you. You may have seen this. It's the developer for Firewatch responded to a refund request. Did you hear about this?
No, I want to hear it.
Okay. So, hold on, let me just...
Is it juicy? Is this like some mega juice?
No, this is actually, like, it's better than that. It's super classy, and...
Oh, is it a classy burn where it's like, oh, yeah, like, they look really good, but they're also, like...
No, it just, like, it makes you feel really good about indie games, and it kind of explains why it's so important to support them.
Damn it! I wanted juice, Stacy. I don't care about
So this was
people.
actually...
Go ahead.
I saw this posted by Patricia Hernandez. So, all right. So basically somebody had written on the Firewatch forums. They were like, hey, like, this game was $18, and I purchased it because I really enjoy games like this. And it was awesome, but it was only like 2 to 3 hours long.
What?
So I'm having really mixed... Yeah, I don't know how they played it that quickly, but whatever. And they were like, I'm really torn because I loved this game, but, you know, $18 seems like a lot. So should I refund this or hold on to it? And, you know, a bunch of people responded, and they're, you know, kind of going one way or the other. And then one of the developers responded. And I'm going to read you the whole thing because it's really important, I think, but it is a bit long. So it says, "Hey there. I thought about not responding because normally people who want to refund are rude and unpleasant, and I choose not to engage and dwell on it. But you seem nice, and I figured, what the heck? Why not have a conversation about this now that I have read it and it's right here in front of me? So here's what I think, as the developer. Sorry if it's a bit of stream of consciousness because I want this to come from the heart. The 11 of us all took a lot of risk to make this and sacrificed financially to give Firewatch a chance. We all could have had much better paying jobs elsewhere, but we all thought this game idea had potential to become something special. We seemed to like each other okay, so we all took a big leap of faith. 2 years, we say. Let's give this a go. Worst outcome is we all hate each other and go back to various money jobs, but we could all say we tried. 2 years plus. We are all crammed into a tiny office, sharing one bathroom. It is not a glamorous thing making an independent game. It is just a small room full of computers and a used microwave and $10 office chairs we got from Craigslist. Life happened during those 2 years. There were big breakups, profound illnesses because of loved ones, a baby, etc. The dev team got to be like family because that's how making an indie game is. You are all in it together, through thick and thin, supporting one another, because if you don't, there is no way in hell this game would get made, let alone any chance of it being worth a bucket of love. We were excited but terrified. We felt free but were constrained. I have been in this industry for 15 years almost, and this is the hardest thing I have ever worked on. We all gave it our all to make this weird thing, and we had no idea if it was going to be any good to anyone else. All we could do was try the damn hardest to make something that we are honestly proud of. At the end, if this was a commercial failure, all we have got is what we have made. Nobody could take that away. So yes, I am sad when people think that this game is not worth the money we asked for, which we thought was a fair ask. It makes me feel like I failed them. It is okay if people don't like the game, but it affects me personally a lot when people feel like it was not worth the time they engaged with it. But do I blame you for wanting to get the most out of your $18? No. I don't know your financial circumstances. $18 might be a lot. Or even if it isn't a lot, why shouldn't you try to get the most out of it? That's a fair desire. That's why we asked for $18 too, because money is something we could all use more of. So I suppose in conclusion, if you do refund, I am not upset. It's on me to learn not to care too much. All I ask is that maybe sometime in the future, when the game goes on mega dirt cheap sale, you could gift the experience to someone else you think would enjoy it like you did. Sincerely, Jane.
Aww.
I know, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize that, like, indie studios are not like AAA studios. And AAA studios suck, too. Like, making games is probably one of the hardest medias to make.
Yeah. And to make them really... I mean, we're given a lot of options with games, and I feel like sometimes people don't... they don't understand how much effort goes into it. Like, that's 11 people for over 2 years. Do you know how much money that is to give each of them just, like, a living wage?
Yeah. I'm really glad it's doing so well, then.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to read the whole thing, is because I think that the game has gotten a lot of support recently, at least from our fans. And that makes me feel really good because...
It makes me really sad because nobody's played Oxenfree now.
Yeah. Well, you guys should go play Oxenfree too.
Exactly. It's really good and nobody's giving it it's like what it's due.
Yeah. It is really good. We just recorded a spoiler cast with Laura K. Buzz about that, actually, so you guys will get to hear that hopefully sometime. It might already be out. Who knows?
I'm just glad it's like the face of games is changing a lot, because something like Firewatch just would not have happened 5 years ago.
Yeah, definitely.
It just would not have happened.
So, on an ending note, support indie devs because they rock and they go out on a big limb, taking a big risk to make games like that, you know?
Yeah. They took a big risk by giving an ending that they knew was good, but knew that not a lot of people would like.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes going with the artistic ending that might not satisfy everybody can be a really risky choice.
It was a good choice to never see Delilah, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that would have changed a lot of people's perspective of her.
Well, it just wasn't who
whole...
she was, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I imagine the game, and I'm just like, I would never see her. So.
No, she would always leave.
Yeah. I mean, if she's willing to be like, I don't know, should I tell them about the dead body? It's like, why do you still want to date her after she says that?
I know.
And then never mind. This is a podcast.
Just totally getting out of your body again.
Yeah. Do we have any? Oh yeah. Okay. It's Black History Month, and you know, I don't feel like I've seen any other major gaming. I'm not saying that we're a major gaming outlet, but any gaming, major gaming outlets to be like, hey, black characters in video games or anything like that. I feel like I don't watch a lot of TV, so I'm not really sure that Black History Month outside of like public schools doesn't really get a lot of attention. The only attention it gets is a bunch of white people being like, how come there isn't a white history month? And I'm like, why does it have to be about you? Shut up and just let's have it, okay?
I don't understand that. It's like, I don't know.
I see more people complain about it rather than just being like, let's be like...
It's 1 month. It's the shortest month of the year.
So anyway...
Like, calm down.
So I thought, let's cover some what I think to be significant black characters in video game history.
Go for it.
So our first character that I would like to bring up is Nilin from Remember Me.
Yes.
Her mother was like 100% black and her father was like a white Frenchman, but they're both French. But it was like, I liked her character a lot, and she was a female person of color leading a AAA game, and I thought that was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I liked her character a lot, even though I did question a lot of her moral compass a lot of the time. Yeah. But then at the same time, I guess if you grew up in a society where like erasing your memories was no big deal, does she really understand what she's doing?
I don't see. That's what I think. I think that sometimes it's hard to put your own moral compass on a character that grew up in a really different circumstance from you.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like looking at people in other countries and wondering why they do the things they do. It's like, but they grew up in a place that's completely different. You know?
Yeah.
Like me, like looking at somebody who grew up from a religious background, you know, we're going to have like different ideas about, you know, things and how the world works just by virtue of how we grew up. So
don't get me wrong, what Nilin was doing, I was like, she just kept like doing really fucked up stuff and being like, well, anyway, bye.
Yeah.
We're both like, Nilin, what
are you doing?
On? She's like,
well, she struck me as kind of like somebody who's in like the bounty hunter mindset.
Yes. She literally was a bounty hunter, so.
Yeah, but like where they don't stop to really think about exactly what they're doing. They're just like, no, this is what I do to survive and I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, it's true. And then next one is Clementine from The Walking Dead. And her character development, I'm not sure if I like it or I don't like it. Because I'm all for, like, cute girls turning into badasses, but at the same time, it was such a drastic change. You know what it is? I think that I just didn't like the writing for season 2. I really liked her in season 1, and I really liked her in season 2, but the writing around her, I was like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, I feel like I don't have too much to add to this just because I didn't play season 1, so I don't have too much of a basis of comparison.
Well, just to give her own credit, she, you know, was a lead female protagonist of color in a video game. And sorry to bring this up, but Lee from Walking Dead season 1, he was like very different from a lot of lead male characters at the time when that game came out, where he was a little bit more even-headed, but he was also had more character to him. What had happened is, like, the very first thing you find out is that he had killed his wife's lover, and he was going to prison for that, but he was also a college professor, and he wasn't, like, I don't want to say he wasn't a bad person because he murdered someone, but he was resigned to his fate, to a life sentence, pretty much. And then I guess the zombie apocalypse kind of gave him a second chance, and the first person he sees who isn't a zombie after he goes through an accident is Clementine. And Clementine is, like, the person he protects all throughout the first season. Like, he sacrifices everything for her, and he protects her, and, you know, he gives plans for her and hope. And I think at the end, him dying was always something that was going to happen because
Spoilers for season 1.
It's been like 4 years.
I know. I'm just joking.
Him dying for her, like, that was his second chance. I mean, he was already resigned to die before even the zombie apocalypse happened. I mean, I don't think he had the death sentence, but he was going to get life in prison.
Well, I think that was his way of probably making up for his mistakes.
Yeah.
Like a life for a life type thing.
And you can choose to not lie about who you used to be. You can tell people, like, no, I killed a man, and then they are kind of taken aback, but then they're like, well, you seem fine.
You seem kind of fine,
yeah.
so.
Well, you're here, so whatever.
Yeah.
I liked it, so. Oh, and then Alex Vance from Half-Life 2. But I don't really remember a lot from Half-Life 2. So, sorry. Did you have any characters?
No. To be honest, I forgot that we were going to do this section of the podcast, so...
Oh, that's okay. Oh, I just remembered Riley from The Last of Us.
Oh, yeah, of
Ellie's
course.
girlfriend.
And Maureen.
Maureen? Oh, yeah. I liked Riley the most.
Well, clearly, because of the way that game ends.
Yeah, what the hell? Well, I guess it has to be canonical.
Yeah. I mean, there are definitely others, but they're all like from games that we didn't play. You know, there's things like people like I remember Barrett from Final Fantasy VII.
Oh yeah.
But I'm looking through a list on Wikipedia right now to see if there's anybody else that I
think people's responses to Riley was really ridiculous. It was so...
It's just so out there.
They're like, they're underage. You can't have them kiss. And I'm like...
What?
I'm like, kids kiss all the time in video games. All the time.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, just because it was two girls kissing...
They're underage.
There's some sort of, like, weird thing going on. And they were like, they're pushing an agenda. Blah, blah, blah. It's an interracial gay couple. And I was like, whoa, interracial gay couple? What year is it right now that you think this is a big... Like, it was a big deal.
You think that's a big deal?
It was a big deal to do that. But at the same time, like, if your reaction is that, like, where are you from? Like, what?
Yeah. Like, if you're the type of person that's going to look at it and be like, that's a big deal because there's an agenda behind it. I don't like this thing where it's like, oh, they're including diverse characters. That means that there's an agenda. How is having, like, a female character or a person of color or a gay person, that's an agenda? Really?
Or...
So the only people who aren't an agenda is a male white character?
Which is an agenda itself if that's all your character is.
Yeah. I don't know.
What? I mean, technically there is an agenda because the person in charge of casting and creating characters has the idea of, I want to have a diverse cast of characters so that it feels more real and genuine. You know? I just burped.
Yeah. But it's sad that has to be considered an agenda, you know?
I'm just saying it technically is, but it's not like...
Well, no. I know that it technically is, but when you think about it, it's like... so having only white people for the longest time wasn't an agenda.
No,
it's just
of course
a different
not.
agenda. Yeah.
I hate it when people are like, well, a lot of like video games come from Japan. They start Asian people, like Final Fantasy. I'm like, shut up. All those people, like, I don't know what you're talking about. Shut up.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
No, I think that's everything I wanted to go over for today.
Okay. Sorry that I was kind of like spacey today, guys. I'm getting progressively sicker as
the podcast goes on. Excellent.
So, but thanks everybody for being here. You know where to find us. Duh.
Yeah. Mari, you could find on Twitter and Tumblr at Geek Remix, and I am at Geek Remix a lot on Twitter and Tumblr.
You know what we should do? We should have a spoiler cast of Coming Out on Top with Laura.
Oh my god. Yes.
Okay.
But we have to play through more of the endings first.
Yeah. Or get an ending.
Get something.
Yeah, just get
But the friendship ending, which is the biggest bullshit ever. We're playing a gay romance sim and we get the friendship ending.
Well, you know, and we forgot that we could rewind time.
I know. The game's like, yes, you can always rewind all your decisions to like fix it if you fuck up, and instead we end up going through and fucking up everything, rewinding nothing, and ending up alone.
I'm kind of glad that we went on that crazy date, though.
Which one? Oh yeah, the one where we got kidnapped.
Yeah. We gotta go on more of those dates. Nuts. I want to see what that's about. All right, okay, bye guys.
Bye.